thing is that we have a lot of investors. Investors are kind of moving our market today. And the investors are using hard money to basically show that they actually have cash. And so when you are out there, if you're a buyer's agent and you are supporting a hard money client or somebody who says they have cash, you need to make sure they have cash. So let me tell you how I deal with that, because I'm mainly a listing agent. Everybody who knows me knows that I kind of pass buyers off, no pun intended. So let me tell you kind of some of the things I've changed. I've always had escrow being open at the start of the contract. That's just something I've always done. I have had every single one of my contracts since the beginning of this year, they do their inspection up front. They do not wait until the bank comes back with an approval. So if you're not doing that, I'm telling you, every single one of my contracts get done that way. Okay? That way, the buyer can either accept or reject the property. We're not concerned about that. And then also, they are not allowed to request for repairs. Let me say that again. They sign something saying that they will submit a BINSR either accepting or rejecting the property. They shall not request repairs from the seller or the seller's lender. Okay? The next thing that I do is cash buyers have to close in 10 days. Cash buyers also actually have to pay for a rush on an HOA. Okay? Because I am not dealing with the fact that they need an extension because of the fact that we can't get the HOA disclosures to them in time. The other thing is, quite frankly, unless there's a death of the buyer, they're probably not going to get their earnest money back. If they are saying they are qualified, whether they are cash or whether they are financed, they need to be qualified on that mortgage. So what we do is they have to submit an LSU to us within 5 days. So I know how far down their lender has actually qualified them, because unfortunately the pre-qualification doesn't really tell me what they've actually done. So I'm really locking the buyer down in that transaction. Okay? Now, with that being said, let's say something happens during a transaction. My sellers are obligated to fix whatever was working at the time of the inspection. Okay? My sellers actually, if there's an HOA lien, that's their responsibility. Okay? One of the things I've been counseling my sellers on now is that if you've actually looked at the 2 tax laws, and actually I've read both summaries, it's pretty good reading. Neither one of them is passed yet. I can tell you, as far as the Mortgage Debt Relief Act is in there on one of the plans, it's not in there on the other plan. So depending on who gets elected, you need to basically have you need to tell your sellers that they need to go seek a great CPA or an accountant, because as far as I am aware, is that if they have a tax liability, that's not something they can get rid of in a bankruptcy. Okay? And so it's very, 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 very important for them to make sure that they understand what their tax obligation may be, at the end of the year or the beginning of next year if they are not considered insolvent. Okay? You don't want to actually give them that advice, but quite frankly, depending on how long it takes you to get a short sale done, some of your clients right now in the pipeline may have a tax liability. And you need to make sure that they seek counsel on that. Okay? So those are some of the things that actually I've been doing. Honestly, if the contracts come through, they don't have my short sale addendums, my sellers don't even want them. The new contract makes it easy for me, the new listing agreement makes it easy for me to basically say whether or not to present those offers to them based on the way that, they elect to have me present the offers, whether I'm going to hold them, whether I give them verbal. It makes it a lot easier than the old ER did. So some major things that are coming down if you are not dealing with your investors. Oh, let me go back to the investors. Also, somebody's saying they're using hard money and it's cash and they need a close of escrow extension. If they need a close of escrow extension, they take liability for the condition of the property from the date that the addendum is signed. Because what I've been finding out is that we've got a problem with people stealing copper. Now again, you know what I mean? And so that causes delays. The investors come back and they want a reduction in the price point. We have to go back to the bank. And really, we could have been closed already if they hadn't asked for that close of escrow extension. So if they ask for a close of escrow extension from that day forward, they assume all liability for the condition of the property to sellers. And there will be no price reductions going forward. Okay? So these are the changes that you need to make sure that your contracts get through and get through quickly. The last thing I want to talk about is there's some changes that are going down in the industry with Bank of America. If you're using title companies to process Bank of America files, and you're using Bank of America's new authorization form, I'm not sure how you're doing that. Okay? You need to tell your people to talk to this man, because that authorization form basically says that whoever is participating in that short sale must be an employee or a contractor of the listing broker or the attorney, and they must be under direct supervision thereof. So I'm not sure how you're using title companies to process Bank of America short sales with their new forms if apparently the title company is not working for the broker or the law firm. You really need to read those forms. I actually called them to verify what they were saying was correct, and they were like, no third parties, no title companies, no third party negotiation companies. It needs to be, they need to either be employees or independent contractors of the broker or of a licensed attorney in the state. So if you've got that in your business model and you're doing that, you need to go back and figure out how your title company is going to change that, because now you're putting your seller in jeopardy by having them sign that form, okay, and you pushing them over to the title company.